After completing the Pokemon Gold Nuzlocke, I felt emotionally compromised, yet still driven to tackle a journey like this again. I picked up Emerald because I actually have a little bit of history with the game. It was the first game I tried Nuzlocking years ago, but whited out on the journey. Fueled with disappointment, I never touched it again. But that was over 7 years ago, and that loser baby child is now a loser baby man. The rules I've set this time are a little different. I figured I should make things a little harder on this journey because I seem to hate myself. No overleveling. The game mode is on set rather than shift. If you can't progress because your Pokemon can't learn a HM, you lose a Nuzlocke completely. No Magikarp because Gyarados is actually broken. And healing items are not banned but limited to 3 items per battle, not including X items, as those are banned entirely. And then the usual stuff from last time. Our journey starts with us escaping the border after a drug bust goes wrong. I thought with the title of Johto Champion the laws didn't apply to me. We end up in Little Root Town and decide to restart our lives. We meet our neighbour, May, who is cute as heck, and then we are told by a kid from the town that he heard some screaming up ahead. Professor Birch is being devoured by a feral Zigzagoon. I let out his Trico when she puts a disease-ridden Zigzagoon out of its misery. We are thanked for saving, well, what's left of him. Ugh. And are given the Pokemon as thanks. I name her Rico. And yes, that is a shameless Main Abyss reference. Walking up Route 101, we encounter May again. She challenges us to a battle and Rico's newfound love for violence get us over the starting line. We are given 5 Pokeballs and the Nuzlocke has officially begun. Our first encounter on Route 101 is a Wurmple. I catch without hesitation and name it Bootleg. Route 102 isn't far off, so I use that chance to catch the next Pokemon for my team. It's a Zigzagoon, but thankfully not as feral, just kinda derpy looking. I name him Kip and we head towards Petalburg City. My Papa Man owns the gym here and wants me to teach the booger-picking kid Wally how to catch a Pokemon. He catches a Ralts and they are equally stupid looking. What a match made in heaven. On Route 105, I'm hopeful that my encounter will be with a Tailo, as Swellow is a fantastic mon to have, and early game flying types are a brilliant addition to the team. We encounter Poochyena. Alright, well that's fine. I mean, imitates a good ability. Whose tears are endless. Not sure what it saw to lead to such despair, but I catch it anyway and name him Hattie. Within the forest, there's a low chance, but you might be able to find yourself a Slackoth or a Tailo, both of which would be excellent additions to our team. Alright, who are we gonna get? Fuck me! It was a second Poochyena. I named him Cock in my ass. A Team Aqua grunt attacks a random professor and Rico proceeds to beat the living piss out of him. No amount of physical therapy can fix that back now. On our way to Rustboro, Wurmple evolves into a Silcoon and we soon have a brilliant encounter with a Marill. A water type this early game is fantastic luck, especially considering how early there are limited Pokemon that can deal with the fire gym later on. I catch her and name her Gumball, and needless to say, this is my favourite encounter yet. But, I mean, when I look at the current team, it's hardly a contest. Within Rustboro City, I quickly scouted some houses for treasure, and needless to say, treasure found me when I encountered this man trying to make his daughter Wanda laugh. And his choice of comedy is, strange. I've been saying the N-word to amuse her like, what the fuck? We make it to Roxanne's gym, and I use the first trainers as fodder for evolution. Upon beating them, Bootleg evolves into Beautifly, and things are looking pretty good. I challenge Roxanne, and you would think it'd be a steamroll, right? Just use Rico to tear ass. Sadly, I was in I must level everything up mode, and I actually used this opportunity to gain some levels on under-leveled Gumball. Gumball cleared the first gear dude without trouble, but was unable to one-shot the second, who in retaliation landed a critical hit rock throw, totally killing her. Ah! What? No! Rico finishes off the fight, but not great luck straight off the cuff. Rest in peace, Gumball, your life was far too short. Onwards to Route 116. We get a fantastic encounter with an Abra. I name her Wotato. Shortly after, Rico has a glow up and becomes Grovyle. I find that evolving Pokemon helps drown out the depression you feel after losing a Pokemon you really care about. Why couldn't it have been you? We meet up with this old man whose Pico was stolen by a Team Aqua grunt. Hattie's tears were so excessive that the Aqua grunt drowned. Seadog the Wishmer joins our adventure, and we return the Pico to the old man. After talking to the president of Devon Corp, who thanks us for beating Team Aqua's goons, he rewards us with community service. We get a letter addressed to a man named Steven, who resides in Dewford town across the seas. Because we saved Pico, the old man owes us a debt, but before venturing out to sea with him, May challenges me to a battle. This fight was interesting. Lotad comes out and I spam 4 howls on Hattie. It basically one-shots Lotad, but has pretty little help at this point. Torchic, despite only being level 15, gave my entire team trouble. I switch on to Kip, who at this point can only handle 1 Ember. I use him to get a sand attack in and then make the switch onto Seadog in order to get a clean switch onto Rico. Goodbye, Seadog, you might be missed. Probably not though. With Rico on the field, I was quite nervous. I'm pretty sure 1 Ember would be enough to kill, but at this point, this chicken was gonna sweep my goddamn team. Rico starts a pursuit, dealing some pretty good damage, and Torchic throws out an Ember, but misses thanks to the sand attack earlier. One quick attack later and the match was ours. But it came with a sacrifice. Well, let's be real. This Pokemon wasn't going to make it in the long run anyway. So we meet up with a Pico pervert and he sells us to Dewford. We make it to the gym and things are going pretty smoothly. Bootleg is doing work on the fighting gym with Gust, and Potato, well, at this point she didn't have any proper moves except teleport and flash. But I figured this would be a good time, especially in double battles, to get some experience points. Oh, come on! So Bootleg is killed due to the trainers Metatite and Machop happily having their way with her, with a critical hit just to top it all off. I'm still not okay. Realizing that my reserve option isn't quite ready for this gym, I take time to venture to the cave in town. I capture a Zubat and name it Burrito. A few dead Makuhitas later and Potato was a fully fledged Kadabra. We revisit the gym and take on Broly, and it's a spoon slaughter. After the gym badge is secure, we run into Steven Stone. We hand him the love letter we were given earlier from the president, but Mr. Stone isn't so sure of his own feelings. We sail to Staleport. When you first met Puchiana, what did you feel? Defeated. On Route 110, we encountered a Gulpin. Not the best, but I thought I'd run with it and see how it fares. I named it Puffins. We go back to Staleport and Team Aqua attack. Hattie sweeps both grunts, evolving in the process. Hey, Hattie, congratulations! Maybe now that you're so badass and intimidating, you'll stop crying. Venture back to Route 110, where we grind for a bit. I know for a fact the May under the bridge fight is a Nuzlocke killer if you're not properly leveled for it. Honestly, it was pretty easy. Wingull fell to Hattie's fangs. Combustion had nothing on Potato's playing card magic tricks. And Burrito just leeched life the everlasting Dookie out of Lombre. Upon Morville City, Wally challenges us to a fight, and Puffins just one-hits his rolls. Before taking on the gym, I quickly look at Route 117, and decide to use the old rod to capture a Goldie. I name her Juanita. I leave Cock in my ass in the daycare, and spoiler, I forget he's there. I'm sure he's fine. We take on Electric Gym Matt Watson from Super Mega, and it's a steamroll. Potato's synchronized ability inflicted paralysis on all of his team, which makes switches super easy. We capture a Tentacle on our way to Route 112 and name it Hentai. This Pokemon would serve as one of the best on the team. Tentacruel is a brilliant late game Pokemon and arguably one of the best water types today. In Emerald, it is a fierce being, despite how mine looks. We make it to Route 112, and I was excited because there is potential to catch a Skimori here, which would give us the flying coverage we needed. Don't be Spinder, don't be Spinder, don't be Spinder, fuck! Spinder? More like spin on my dick. On the Fari path, we capture a Numel, name it Mayo. While it may not be the best, its type is something we were lacking, so this one can stick around as well. At the media falls, Archie, the captain of Team Aqua, says that Team Magma are on top of Mount Chimney doing some wacky tobacco, and I'm told I should meet up with them. I'm pretty jive with the idea, as I am an active partaker of those things we refer to as the drugs. Oh, I also capture a Zubat and name it. We take the cable car to Mount Chimney and meet up with the Magma Grunts. It turns out the Devil's Lettuce was a farce, and instead they had plans to make the volcano erupt using a meteorite or something. I'm not really here for the plot, but let's be honest, you aren't either. Maxie challenges us to a fight. Maxie leads with Mightyana, and so do we. Hattie's tears drown the opposing Mightyana without trouble. Potato does a thing with her spoon, but it's the camper run that I don't have an answer for. I switch on to Burrito, expecting a magnitude, but it one-hits her instead with a critical hit Ember. Hentai doesn't have any water moves yet, and I know for a fact that magnitude would one-hit her. My only play is to use Potato to disable Camperot's Ember, and then rely on Wiko to wear it down. Thankfully it worked, but my god, for the first time in a little while, we were a bit on the fence. Rest in peace, Burrito. Thank you for your hard work. We make it to Lava Ridge Town and take on the gym leader, Flannery. Hentai has become a full-fledged Tentacruel. All that needs to be said about this fight is bubbles. We venture to the desert ruins now that we have the goggles needed to traverse it. We find and capture a sand shrew named Knives. Quite the edgelord, but hey, this channel is all about diversity. Now, put the blade down, Knives. Knives, put it down! We also venture into the Mirage Tower and obtain a claw fossil, but the structural integrity of this building is, well, IKEA standards. The 5th gym awaits, and it's against my Papa Man. Hattie comes in swinging against the Spinder, but is instantly put into the red against Norman's slacking. The fact that the strongest Pokemon I have is Rico, and even she was put in the yellow area of health in one facade is scary. Also, that move deals double damage if the user has any status effects inflicted on it, which, by the way, it didn't. Potato disables Slacking's counter and uses the time Slacking spends loafing around to set up Reflect. She constantly wears it down with Psybeam. Once Woe is in the red, I switch on to Rico, who sweeps in for the kill, while the monkey is loafing around. Vigoroth comes out and Hentai Bubble Beams it to death. Things are good at this point, but I had an unexpected problem with the Linoon of all things. Almost all my Pokemon are in the yellow, and Linoon is faster than almost all of my Pokemon. But that thing is also spamming Slash like crazy. Nothing could withstand 2 hits. So the only Pokemon left in the green that I had was Puffins. I switch on to Puffins and took the facade, putting her in the yellow. I use this turn to heal Rico and Puffins is killed by one final slash. Rico then uses 2 Leaf Blades and the fight is over. Thanks Puffins. You were great. Joins us, not my best segue, as a Golbat, and after a bit of grinding, Mayo becomes Camperupt. We ride back at Marvel, and Matt Watson from the famous YouTube channel Super Mega asks us to restore the power via the power plant.
With all due respect to your mom, she ain't nothing but a bitch to me, and y'all know that bitches ain't shit to me.
In the power plant, I was hoping for a Magnemite as my first encounter, but got a Voltorb instead.
God damn it, this piece of shit, stupid.
I named him Roly Poly. After the power is restored, we head to Route 118, where we encounter an Electrike we name Zippo, and on Route 119, we meet Weedmaker. Hell yeah. Yo, Rico, you want one? Holy shit! We arrive at Four Tree City, where the flying type gym leader Winona awaits us. She is infamous for sweeping teams with her Swords Dance Altaria. A fun fact, she was my Nuzlocke killer 7 years ago. I fell prey to her once in a previous life, but not today. Knowing that she tries to build that thing quickly, I knew I needed to formulate a team that could hit hard and quick. The battle begins and Swablu comes out first. I lead with Zippo, who thundered Swablu without problems, but it seemed like Winona was immediately unhappy with it, and followed up with Altaria. I had Zippo use Thunder Wave to hold Altaria, but despite that, it begun its Swords Dance. I use Thunder, but it misses, and as a result, Altaria gets a free Swords Dance in. This is already a bad situation to be in. The fact of the matter is, 2 Swords Dances already is likely enough to one-hit most of my Pokemon, so I made the decision to use one more Thunder. It lands, but due to Altaria's Dragon-type nature, Thunder wasn't super effective against it, so it didn't kill. Zippo half-health Altaria, but then is killed. I switch into Hentai, and thankfully, despite being outsped, it lives in the red. She uses Ice Beam, and there goes the queen of the fight. Not a bad end result compared to last time. Skamori and Trepius fold and Mayos overheat, and Pelipper is dumb. Fuck Pelipper. On Route 121, we encountered a Shuppet. I named her Autumn. We didn't need to be here, I just figured we might as well build a team while we can. We went into the Safari Zone, and my luck was incredible.
Oh shit, okay, here we go. Who's gonna be? Who's gonna...
Now, look, I know in the Safari Zone there are better Pokemon, but what can I say? I'm a Pikachu fan. I don't care if it makes me basic. And besides, once I track down a Thunderstone, making this thing into a Raichu will just be chef's kiss. I named her Mango Shine, and I could not be happier. We encounter May again, but at this point she really should just don't. Venture back to Mount Pyre, where Team Aqua grunts have gathered to steal an orb. My guess is they want to ponder it. Mango Shine begins her hourly cleanup duty, but sadly Team Aqua got away with the orb. It turns out Team Magma had stolen the blue orb and Team Aqua the red. If both orbs are separated, then the world will be thrown into ruin or something. I'm 10 years old. This is a lot of responsibility. We are given the Magma emblem and then we locate the secret base. Inside the Magma base, we encounter a Geodude whose favorite show is Big Bang Theory. I name him Bazinga. Hentai and Mayo are beating up a bunch of Team Magma goons until the path is paved for our destined fight with Magma leader Maxine. But first, an epic cutscene.
No, I told you not to touch that goddamn button! Oh shit. Maybe he's friendly.
Ah, you killed him. The fight was pretty easy. Hentai being one level stronger than all of Maxine's Pokemon swept with Surf and Ice Beam. Maxine tries to find ground and we venture back to Southport where Team Aqua have stolen one of the submarines from the Devonport. We now get to experience the fun of going to their secret base and clearing out their goons. Lazy goddamn riding bullshit. Mango Shine uses these grunts as a means to level itself up a bit. We make it to the last goon who we beat without fail, but Archie escapes in the submarine to use the red orb to awaken Kyogre and set off the calamity. Epic. I love that for us. But their plans can wait because now I have an incredibly big set of fish to fry. We surf to Mossdeep Gym, where one of the most infamous Nuzlocke killers awaited us, Tate and Liza, the dynamic psychic duo. Not only is this the first double battle gym, but the level curve is ridiculous. Their Pokemon are all level 41, while having only 4 Pokemon in total. This fight altered the entire fate of my Nuzlocke run. They start with Xatu and Claydol, in which I follow up with Rico and Hentai. Rico uses Leaf Blade on Claydol to get him in the yellow, while Hentai Ice Beams Xatu. Both are unable to kill in their first turn, however. Xatu follows up with a Calm Mind, boosting its special attack and defense, and Claydol lets out a devastating Earthquake. This puts Hentai straight in the red. Rico finishes off the Claydol, and Hentai uses Surf to get some chip damage on the next Pokemon that switched in. But somehow it does little to no damage to Xatu. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have gotten greedy and just Ice Beam Xatu then and there, but Lunatone is terrifying, and I wanted to wail on him as much as possible before Solrock comes knocking. Luckily, Xatu's Psychic move targeted Rico, but even then, the damage is absurd. Rico is almost one hit by it. I switch into Kadabra, who takes a not very effective Psychic to the face, resulting in her being in the yellow. Hentai gets healed up as Lunatone then follows up with another Calm Mind. The Things are getting scary at this point. Both Xatu and Lunatone have built themselves within seconds, and my team can barely take a hit in this fight. Hentai uses Ice Beam, but due to Xatu's build, it still survives. Potato sets up a barrier, but even with it, Xatu breaks through with a Side Beam, ultimately killing her. Lunatone then follows up and almost kills Hentai. Mango Shine makes an appearance and quickly thunderbolts to Xatu, getting it in the yellow. Knowing that the bot will immediately go for the kill, I switch Hentai out with Hattie, who is immune to Psychic, and Mango Shine finishes the Xatu. And so comes out the Soul Rock. I heal up again, and Mango Shine is then put in yellow when Psychic is used by the calm-minded Lunatone. Hattie uses Bite, which does a bit of damage on a Lunatone, and Soul Rock uses Sunny Day. Knowing that Soul Rock will follow up with Flamethrower due to the Sunny Day, I switch back on a Hentai, who takes a Psychic and Flamethrower back to back and still live to tell the tale. Hattie bites, but alas, it's not very strong with the enemy being levels up on him. If I switch at all, the next Pokemon dies, so the plan was to stall as hard as I could. Hentai uses Substitute to allow one attack on her without damage. Hattie uses Bite, which brings Lunatone into the red, but both Lunatone and Solrock want Hentai killed. Lunatone uses Psychic, which breaks the Substitute immediately, and Solrock targets her as well with Psychic, completely killing her. Two great Pokemon, lost in a few turns, but the misery doesn't stop there. Mayo takes up the position as he is the only one whose health at the moment, outside of Hattie, was good enough to withstand an attack. Knowing that the Lunatone would heal this round, I use my third and last Hyper Potion to bring Rico back up, and Hattie gets early damage into Lunatone again. Solrock hits Hattie with a Flamethrower, putting him in the red, and Mayo is then killed by a critical hit Psychic with Calm Mind status. This fight, half my team wiped out in an instant. Out of options, Rico takes the stage. She Leaf Blades and kills a Lunatone, and Hattie gets a Bite in. Thankfully, it finally flinches the opponent. With that extra move, Rico and Hattie go in for the kill, and the fight is ours. This fight sucked. I'm sorry, Potato. I'm sorry, Hentai, and I'm sorry, Mayo. We will persevere in your honor. Leave it to us. The team needed leveling and rebuilding. So, Autumn and Kit joined our team. After grinding like crazy, we helped Steve take on some Magma Goons and Maxine. After wiping the floor with these fools, we ventured out and soon caught a Wowmer named Miss Muffet, who told us that Team Aqua were going to awaken the legendary Pokemon of the seas Kyogre at the Seafloor Cavern. Upon arrival, I let Mango Shine do a usual thing. We reach Kyogre, but not before Archie challenges us to a fight. But calling that a fight would be a disservice to all fights worldwide. Still, he awakens Kyogre, and in turn awakens the beginning of the end. Good one, Captain Cockhead. The two teams put aside their differences for the moment. Steve informs us that Stopolis might provide answers behind the source of the devastation. So we set sail, via Miss Muffet, towards Pseudopolis City. Underwater, we encounter a Chinchou and we name him the Shining. Great Pokemon, especially in the late game. In Stopolis, Kyogre and Groudon engage in combat. As a kid, I thought this was pretty awesome. As a 24-year-old man, it's still pretty awesome. Steven leads me to the Cave of Origin. Seeing the potential in us, he tells us to seek a man named Wallace, who knows a way to combat the calamity. Wallace informs us of a legendary Pokemon named Rayquaza, who ended these two Pokemon's quarrels long ago. It's now our job to awaken him at the top of the Sky Pillar. We arrive at the tower and Wallace notices the screen shaking a bit and freaks out. He flies back to Stopolis in fear of what may come of the civilians, leaving the fate of the world to me, a 10-year-old. What? Okay! On our way to the top, we catch a Sableye and we name him Reptile. And speaking of reptiles, I found this guy. Rayquaza awakens and he flies to Stopolis. What follows is honestly, to this day, one of the best cutscenes in Pokemon games today. Your mum gay. With the battle over, the world returns to what it once was. Is so emotional he evolved into Crobat. Seeing so emotional also got the Shining emotional, so it evolved into Lantern. We took on Stopolis gym leader Juan, who's Wallace's apprentice, which was shocking considering his performance. What awaited us now was the Elite Four. But first, 1 hour of me trying to get up to the top of Sky Pillar because using a bike with a keyboard is damn near impossible. At last, it was us, against the god of the sky, Rayquaza. Yeah, I master vaulted. Don't act like you didn't see it coming, he was level 70. And besides, I'm not going to use him in my main team, no. He serves a much greater purpose. We arrive at Evergrande City, and inside the Victory Road we encounter Hariyama. We capture it and name him Clubs. On our way we run into Wally one last time. Honestly, he is a complete breeze. In fact, he's a little too easy. In fact, I got so overconfident wasn't paying attention, and then this happened. No, wait,
I'm an idiot! Why?
We kick the shit out of Wally and his stupid Gardevoir, but then we encounter one incredibly large trial. Our path is blocked by an unexpected enemy, the Rock himself. I would never make my main team HM slaves, but I was prepared.
Hear my plea! Bathe the world in your winds of anger! Use the Bingus Bungus Blast!
Hell yeah. We finally make it to the Pokemon League and I was without question nervous as shit. My team composition was alright to say the least, thanks to about 2 hours of grinding. Still, compared to my Pokemon Gold team, this team was far more balanced out. But that being said, that Nuzlocke didn't have a level cap, item cap, and wasn't anywhere near as hard as the Emerald Elite Four. Took a deep breath, and thus began the final 4 trials. The first of the Elite Four is Sydney, the Dark Dancer. He starts off with Mighty Yana and Rico Leaf Blades to knock it out. Absol comes out, immediately Swords Dances. Rico follows up with another Leaf Blade, but it doesn't do too much damage. It then uses Aerial Ace, and from full health, Rico gets knocked down hard. I switch on to Miss Muffet to bait out the Aerial Ace, and then switch on to Clubs, so that Absol uses Rock Slide or Slash instead of Aerial Ace. And luckily the pivot was successful, as when Clubs went on the field, he was hit with Rock Slide first and then Aerial Ace after, which put him in the red rather than killing him. Clubs attacks first with a Brick Break, killing Absol on one clean hit. Shiftry comes out and I switch into Hattie to bait out his Psychic. I then switch on to Rico and kill Shiftry in one hit with a critical hit Aerial Ace. Then Rico sweeps the Crawdon and Cacturne with ease. The second Elite Four is Feed, the Ghost Mistress. Hattie stands tall in this fight, crunching his way through opponents. Would you look at that? He finally found his bark. Attaboy, Hattie. Alright, Mango Shine deals with both her beneaths, and through the combined efforts of The Shining and Miss Muffet, the Sableye falls cold. The third Elite Four is Glacier, the Chilling Wind. Mango Shine leads the charge with a Thunderbolt that one-hits Cecilio. I switch on to Clubs, who tanks 2 Ice Beams. Clearly sets up a barrier, but Clubs Brick Breaks his way through it without problem. The second, Celio sets up a Hail, and in return is murdered by Clubs' Hand of Justice. And Pain. Also Pain. Another Glalie comes out, but witnessing the devastating hand of Clubs, it shits itself and dies.
I'm dead.
Then arrives Walrein. Clubs takes hail damage and Walrein Surf without trouble, but Clubs can only withstand 2 more turns. I can't seem to out-heal the Hail and Surf, which means it's do or die. But sadly in this case, it's die, as Walrein instead lands a Sheer Cold while in the red. For those who don't know, Sheer Cold has a 30% chance of hitting a Pokemon, and it kills it in one hit if it lands. Clubs was killed, but his death thawed the icy path for Mango Shine to land a devastating Thunderbolt, ending the battle with Glacier. It was a short time, but thank you, Clubs. You got us through that last fight. May you be kicking ass in heaven. The fourth of the Elite Four is Drake, the Dragon Slayer. Miss Muffet begins the fight. She coats the team in a miss while sustaining damage from Shelgon. She blizzards him and then Altaria comes out. Altaria hits Miss Muffet with a Dragon Breath that causes paralysis. Muffet follows up with a rest, reading the paralysis, and then a Chesto Berry wakes her up. She is hit by Altaria once more, but kills her with another Blizzard. Kingdra comes out and I switch on to Rico. Rico settles the score with 2 Leaf Blades. You know, the usual at the Rico restaurant. Flygon comes out and I know for a fact that Drake wants to go for the kill here. Predicting the Flamethrower, I switch on to Miss Muffet, and yes, I'm aware that she was low on health, but she's a mean gal who can take a move. A quick heal takes place and Flygon uses Dragon Breath, and it doesn't paralyze. Miss Muffet fires a Blizzard in return, and it kills it in one hit. Out comes Salamence, and he is angry. Within the blink of an eye, it uses Dragon Claw, and it deals, I kid you not, 199 damage. No buffs, no crits. And that's on Miss Muffet of all Pokemon, the tank of the team. Seeing that damage, I knew that whatever I switch on to next will die. But many of the Pokemon in my party are essential in the fight against Wallace, so with a heavy heart, I healed Rico to enable a clean switch on the next, and Miss Muffet was killed. The Shining takes stage, and he goes first and lands a Blizzard, ending the fight. Thank you, Miss Muffet. You were the wave that turned the tide. Finally, we confront Wallace. I only had a team of 4, which had me a little nervous, but we were not gonna lose here. We worked too damn hard to get to this point. I spent a lot of hours grinding after all. The battle begins as his Whale Lord takes the stage. A truly cruel joke. But Mango Shine isn't laughing. Without hesitation, she lands a Thunderbolt, killing it in one hit. Next is Gyarados, but he poses no threat. Didn't you see my last video? 4 times weakness to electricity. Get that big ass fish out of my game. Wishcash comes out. Predicting the Earthquake, I switch on to Rico, who tanks it like a champion. She then Leaf Blades it and kills it in one hit. We are now one step ahead of Wallace. That is until Melodic comes out to play. I switch on to the Shining, and this battle hurt my soul. Melodic is a beefy boy, super effective moves only dealt a minuscule amount of damage to him. And not to mention, Melodic carries recover, meaning that whenever its health is low enough, it will recover all of its health, and then the cycle would continue. But not only that, Wallace also hadn't used a single item, meaning that the only way to win in this scenario is to slug it out. I had to outdo his recover and outdo his potions. This demon carries Ice Beam, rendering Rico useless, and Mango Shine isn't very defensive nor tanky. With the item cap, I also couldn't risk being frozen. The Shining was our only hope in this fight, but our resources were limited. These next few turns felt endless. The Shining used Confuse Ray, but Melodic breaks through with Surf. The Shining follows up with Spark, and Melodic again breaks through with Surf. The Shining sparks again, and then Melodic recovers. This was the cycle we were in. If the paralysis stopped Melodic at all, Wallace would full restore it. Whenever the Shining was down, I would heal, but sadly, I was out healed in the end. The 3 potions are up, and the cycle ends with the Shining being unable to heal. And ultimately, I made the choice to get greedy in hopes of landing the final spark, but was killed by a critical hit Surf. The Shining perishes, and Rico takes the spot. You did good, The Shining. You were the brightest of them all. With Rico out now, I did have a free switch and didn't have to worry about the Ice Beam straight away. However, I did have to worry about the recover. But in a stroke of luck, before I could use it, a paralysis kicks in. Finally, Melodic is down. Out came Ludicolo. Rico, fueled with adrenaline, aerial aces Ludicolo into submission, and the final Pokemon comes out. Rico, use Earthquake! You did it! You were amazing! But that wasn't the end. In the very finale, the final obstacle took one last thing from me. Rico landed an Earthquake, putting Tentacle in the red, but ultimately was killed by a critical hit Sludge Bomb. My partner since the beginning, taken away by a ghost of the past. As I watched in disbelief, Mango Shine took the position as team leader. She confronts the Titan before her, and conjures a Thunderbolt powered up by all the ups and downs of our journey. All the sweeps, all the misplays, but above all else, all of the allies that got us here. With that, Wallace loses the battle, and the Nuzlocke is beat. It was a bittersweet victory to say the least, but for the sake of how hard our team worked, we can take pride in this victory. Everyone put in the effort, and thanks to that we overcame truly great cliffs. The furious nerd that was me from 7 years ago can be free of the anger he felt, and the emotionally unstable nerd that is me now needs a drink. Who wants one?